Hi guys, this is Mianna Wick with my vlog, and I have been talking about racing 101s with you guys, and I've also been answering just here and there to kind of break it up, just some questions about me. I talked about just several things about my life and all of that, and I kind of started out my vlog with that. But this time I kind of wanted to tie them both in together for you guys, and so I was looking for some questions that would be good to do that, and I came across this question that people asked a race car driver. What is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you? And I just thought that that would be a phenomenal question for me to answer because it talks about racing, it kind of explains, it goes more in depth about racing, but then it also shares my insight on it and how I handle things and how I feel through it all. I was thinking about answering this question, and through it, I'm going, that's a hard question to answer. Driving a race car and going fast doesn't really scare me. There's the moments that it gets intense and that it's difficult, but there really hasn't been that oh man, this is so terrible, that ultimate fear through it. So I was kind of trying to think and racking my brain about it, and I remember back to one test that I was having at Pikes Peak International Raceway, or PPIR, and I was going around the oval, and my crew chief was trying to get me to go faster through the oval. And I was coming, and I was going to go out of it, and he said, you really just need to go faster. You're feathering the throttle, you're going too slow, you're kind of coasting through it all, go faster, you can go faster. And so I was like, okay. And I get about halfway through the oval this next time, going to try this, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna slap into the wall. This isn't gonna happen. And my crew chief calls in, and he's like, just do it. You can make it. Go ahead. And so I'm like, okay, I just have to do it. So I just keep my foot on the throttle and just go. And I'm just thinking this whole time, this isn't gonna work out. This is gonna be a terrible and horrible crash. And the next thing I know, I'm out of the oval, and I made it. And I was just so ecstatic. That was insane. And obviously I had that adrenaline running and kind of that anxiety, I guess more is what I would call it, and just, I'm not gonna make this. But when I just put my trust in my crew and what they were saying and stuff, it just worked out. So that was awesome. The thing that I think people think probably scared me the most, and probably the most horrific thing that's happened to me in racing, is back in Formula Ford 1600s, I was driving at Pikes Peak International Raceway once again, and I went into a corner, and a nut popped off my rear wheel, and so it just goes into that mechanical failure sort of thing, and my rear wheel popped off. I landed on the asphalt, kind of hurt a little bit, but what really got me is it got my car spinning because it was unsettled so much, and it backed me over the rumble strip, which the rumble strip is the concrete slope on the insides of the track, and there's rumble strips on the outside, but I backed over the inside one, and so there's a little drop on it, and when I backed over it and my rear wheel landed into the dirt, it just sunk in, and it just was this terrible landing, and I just heard this snap in my body, and I went, uh-oh. And I actually ended up crawling out of the car. I'm like, I'm fine. I was surprisingly super calm through the whole thing, and just I just need to do this, hands off your wheel, put your hands towards your chest, super calm, calming coaching myself through the whole thing. It was crazy. But then I get out, and my dad and I are ready to leave, and my dad's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm fine. Well, about halfway on the way home, I was like, man, I'm really hurting. And turns out I broke my collarbone, tore my rotator cuff, severed several of my nerves and my brachial plexus. It just was this huge thing that I still eat today. So that would probably be the most horrific thing that's ever happened to me. But again, there's not really that ultimate fear through it all. I just, driving a race car isn't that scary to me per se. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed me answering this question, and if you guys can share and comment on my blog, that would be awesome. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys next time.